spoiled by her, my sisters, because I was the first boy after four girls. And I recall I was always trying to impress her. I remember back when we were 5 and 6 years old, we were living in a labor camp. We became the Hilda Village there on it was called the labor camp. And when I graduated from kindergarten, and so she was always with me. I remember, I don't remember much else about my childhood, specifically, but I remember we both leaving the building. I had a little fire truck or something, graduation program. So later on, I would always, I'm a physician, so I owe a lot of my success to encouragement from her, and of course my family, but specifically her. I worked at a clinic, at a pediatric clinic, where she was working, and I was always there on time. I was wanted to make sure that she saw what I was doing, and make sure that I impressed her. There's, on the lighter side, she tells a story of when she was going to present a case one time, and on the way there, she said everybody was looking at her, and looked to the hot today. She was already a hot lady, but she kept saying people were always looking at her, you guys were checking her out and stuff, and she kind of got to the court, not to argue her case, and she went like this. And she noticed that there was one of those rollers. A single pink roller. I always watched them put them on. They were loud.
I mean, she would make fun of everyone, but she would make fun of herself too. What else? Stories?
I went to my condolences to the Galaviz family, and I remember Hilda growing up, and we used to go up to their house every weekend, Friday, Saturday. We go up and get together as girls and tease our hairs and comb our hairs and get ready to go to the dances. We were an exciting time in our lives, and I just remember her always being excited and just vivacious and living a wonderful life. And I just feel a great loss, and I give my deep condolences to each and every one.
Your mom definitely loved dancing. And she would make you dance. Remember Cody? She made you do the warrior dance. So we call it Mexican dance where they go in a circle and we don't know what we're doing. She always made Cody do it with her. Yeah, she'd do this thing, she'd get really low. And then she thought it was a move, but she would go slow. She thought it was
She would say, yeah, I know our pastor and coaches are the one. That's where it's all. She would say that, and she wanted you to run for that.
It's been a long time since I've seen Frank or Marco or Francisco, so it's kind of strange for me to see you grown up with your own family. Hilda provided me with my first experience of professionalism. She and Frank took me in their office in Dundee, and I worked there with Esau and with Elon. We all worked together. I don't know. She gave us all opportunity, and she was a mentor and a model without even trying. She made it look easy when it really wasn't. So, and I really appreciate that she was so accepting of everyone. I just remember something about Francisco. I think I was in my early 20s, and Francisco was still at the Dundee School right next to the office. And Francisco had on one day, because Francisco could wear whatever he wanted when he was young. Well, but it's just really, it was not a big deal. And in my household, I think it might have been a big deal what we were wearing. But one day, Francisco had on like a t-shirt that I think belonged to maybe Frank or somebody else, because it was down to the knees or something. It was a tie-dye shirt. And she's like, oh yeah, I just let Francisco wear whatever he wants. It's really no big deal. And you know, that is the truth about Hilda. Nothing was a big deal because she valued your authenticity and your individualism, and she accepted you regardless. So never did we feel judgment, and only did we see other perspectives from what we looked at or what our view was. So I really appreciate Hilda for teaching me so many things and being a model for so many of us, and for being a good mom.
I still wear what I want.
I just was sitting there thinking, I have to talk about her as a fitness person because nobody really touched on that. But when I moved here, or when I married my husband over 20 years ago, and I wasn't very happy when I moved to Oregon. From California, I like the sun, and when I met Hilda, she's like, you gotta start running, you gotta run all the time. And so I think she'd already put about over 20 marathons under her belt by the time I started running with her. But I went on to run about 15 more marathons, and several of them with her after I moved here. And she just encouraged me to be the best I could be, even furthering my education. And I still continue to educate other people and also run. I owe that to her. And so I just want to say thank you. And she was an amazing runner, and she just never got tired. Even after 26 miles, she was still ready to go. And she did love to dance, but I danced with her several times.
On the back row.
My name is Alex. I'm a friend of Francisco's. I don't have really any wild, crazy stories, but from a lot of what everyone else has been saying, and it's fairly evident that Hilda did have a knack for finding out who needed help, and definitely putting all of her resources into that. Especially when Fran first got his house, there were several guys living there. Jake, Mikey, Jesse, and I was there a lot. And we were all just incredibly poor. And Hilda always made an effort to come, like make sure the house was clean, do dishes, make food for everybody. There'd be like extra. There'd be like extra days of food. So once you come, she'd give you extras. So that way you always had food. And there was one day, I spent a lot of time on vacation, kind of like just taste testing, and if I didn't know what to do, I might just stop by because the house was always unlocked because there's nothing to steal. And so I spent a lot of time just hanging out, and a lot of the people there all day, making a million things for everybody, for all the boys to eat. And she treated us all like she didn't show favoritism. I mean, not toward Francisco, not toward Mikey, not toward Jake, not toward me, not to anybody. Like we were all equals. And we had a good day once where Hilda was cooking, I was doing the taste test and making sure everything was just right. And then Fran had some dinner guests, but because it was a dinner and we're so poor, when you knew there was a dinner somewhere, you had to get a bite. And Francisco and I got in a pretty big fight over it. And Hilda kind of stepped in and said that I didn't have to leave and I could stay for dinner. and I stayed, and I told Francisco, I said, the only way you're getting me out of here is if I call the cops. So yeah, she did definitely take good care of us. And Francisco probably at this point would admit that he was wrong.
Always said I was right.
Did you explain that time?
No. Oh, Mom, for whatever reason, she would wear anything that was exotic. So she really got into animal prints. And then so every she had is like an animal print, so I went and found this on the old eBay. Where
It's unique.
it's unique.
I'm Jake. I met Francisco a long time ago. Hilda ended up giving me and friends my first job, take care of them. I just remember a fun trip we took to California, to Universal, other places. I didn't have my driver's license, and Hilda drove down half the way, and I was like, get late, she's like, all right, Jake, you can drive. I don't have a license. Don't worry, just wake me up if the cops pull us over. And me and Marco drove most of the night. Just had a blast playing Michael Jackson. Yeah, I'm going to miss her a lot. I really appreciate her opening my eyes to all the different types of food that she had us try out and food I want to. So, try a lot of good food now. Thanks.
Time for one more thing. Anything else? All right. Yeah. Good. This is Mom's ex-husband, Frank's husband. But yeah.
Hi, I'm Frank, and I'd like to talk a little bit about Hilda's history, a little bit about our life together, some of our experiences, and I would also like to tell you what Hilda would say if she were here today. Hilda, as you heard, initially in her very, very small childhood was a migrant farm worker and traveled throughout the various states picking crops with her family. And then when she was 5 or 6 years old, her parents, Juan and Ophelia Galaviz, settled in Dayton. And it's my understanding that they were the first Mexican-American family to settle in Yamhill County. And they settled rather than continue the migrant life because both Juan and Ophelia Galaviz felt it very, very important that their children get an education. And I'll get into this a little bit more, but Hilda took that extremely seriously because she had 20 years of formal education. Like I said, I'll get into that. And she was 62 years old this past June 7th. So 1/3 of her life was devoted to formal education. Hilda and I have known each other for 55 years. We were in the first grade together. We had the same first grade teacher. And as we went through the various grades, I don't have a vivid recollection, and Hilda doesn't have a vivid recollection because obviously we talked about it. Until the 7th grade when we were in ribbons, and we specifically remember dancing with each other. And I want to preface this with when Hilda was growing up, when we were growing up, it was during the 50s and during the early 60s. And this was a time of the equal protection, the equal rights movement, where the United States was attempting to do something about the discrimination of Black Americans. And what I think people tend to forget is the discrimination that was going on against Latinos during those years and even years past that. And when we had ribbons, some of the white boys, or according to Hilda, all of the white boys would not hold her hand when they were doing the dance. And Hilda would also tell me about the racial slurs what she did during her life, all that more outstanding and remarkable. I can also say that it cut her very deeply, and she suffered from that all her life and suffered insecurity as a result. But when we had rhythm, she was the best girl to dance with because she held your hand so tight. And as a 7th grade boy, there was not much more fun thing to do than to twist the girl around, throw her, and know that you weren't going to throw her in the car. Hilda's favorite dance was La Raspa, and mine was the Teton Mountain Stomp. Step together, step, stomp, back together, back, stomp. And we would compete as to who could make the loudest stomp. Like I was saying, we were in school together, and we were in high school together. The next vivid recollection I have of Hilda it was after basketball practice for me, and it was after cheerleading practice for her. This is at Dayton High School, and I come out of the boys' dressing room, and I look to the left, and the boys' dressing room, it comes out where the basketball court is. And I look to the left, and down on the left is where the stage is. And I see Hilda down there on the stage, and she's got a janitor's book. So I go down to talk, I go down to see what's going on, and I go down next to the stage, and I say, "Hey, Hilda, what are you doing?" And she said, "I've got this, I'm a part-time janitor after school." And see, this was when she was about 15, I believe. I'm a janitor after school. I work a few hours, and I get some money, and I can pay for my cheerleading outfit and some of my clothes. And something happened during that conversation. And there was a spark. And it wasn't long after that, I don't remember the specifics, but it was after a basketball game, and I just, with all the crowd around, happened to bump into her, and I said to her, "Hey, do you want to go to Mac?" It was Mac back then, not Nintendo. "Do you want to go to Mac and just get something?" She said that she did, and we were just going as friends. At that time, I had a 57 Chevy, with chrome wheels in the back, mags in the front, a very small steering wheel, so it doesn't get much better than that. We went to the A&W and had root beer clubs. And we talked about how stupid some of our teachers were, and we were a lot smarter. Well, we did that a couple of times after that, and before you know it, we became high. This is when we were sophomores in high school. And Hilda had mentioned to me, and we had talked about it, we're very proud that we were the first mixed couple in Dayton High School. During our time there, we were the only mixed couple. When we were in high school, Hilda was a cheerleader. She loved cheerleading. And as a sophomore, she was a cheerleader for the varsity football and basketball. And that was essentially unheard of because it was just the junior and senior teams. But because of Hilda's ability, her gymnastic ability, and what she could do, she was on the varsity cheerleading squad, and she was the only one that could do a full split. Hilda was always interested in nursing and always interested in taking care of children. And so she wanted to get into the University of Portland Nursing School and get her bachelor's degree. And she worked very hard in school, but her grades were not exactly the best. She didn't do real well on the formalized tests like the SAT. But she had a counselor at Dayton who worked very hard on her behalf. Hilda worked very hard on her behalf, writing some essays to submit to the University of Portland, and she was accepted. And although her grades weren't that hot in high school, she worked extremely hard, and you could just tell nursing was her field. When she graduated from the University of Portland, she graduated cum laude, which means essentially with distinction, with honors. We were continuing to be an idol during all that time. Hilda was a cheerleader for the University of Portland Pilots basketball team for 2 years. During the 2 years, I think people have said how much she liked to dance, how much she liked music. During our high school, or during our college years, we went and saw the Moody Blues, the Bee Gees, Clearwater. Her two favorites, Los Lobos and John Lee Hooker. When we were juniors in college, we were sitting in my 1969 Mach 1 Mustang on a turkey farm. And I asked Hilda what was wrong with her hand. She held up her hand and said nothing like. I took her hand and I slipped an engagement ring on her right finger. History would indicate she accepted. And we were married. Well, we both graduated. Hilda graduated from the University of Portland, and I graduated from Portland State in the spring 1974. We got married on July 27, 1974. I began law school 1 month after that, and Hilda got the dream job. And the dream job was working for Dr. Rick Steinberg at the Woodburn Pediatric Clinic in Woodburn. It was the dream job because it was a pediatric clinic where you get to take care of children, nurse them back to health, and it was in Woodburn, which served the Hispanic population in Woodburn and in the greater Marion County area. During my 3 years in law school, Hilda supported us. And then, after I graduated from law school, it was Hilda's turn to get an advanced degree. And we moved to Seattle while Hilda got a master's degree in nursing from the University of Washington. She wrote her master's thesis, which was over 100 pages, on the Mexican American women and breastfeeding. In her opinion, everyone should breastfeed, but not enough Mexican American women did, and she was a very strong advocate of that. after Hilda graduated with her master's degree, we traveled. And we traveled cheap, generally by bus. We traveled through Mexico, through all of Central America, and again, this is overland by bus. We didn't go to Nicaragua because it was at war at the time. We went to Panama, got to go along the length of the entire Panama Canal. We went into Colombia, which was not advised at the time because of the drug cartels. We took a bus late at night, or arrived late at night in Cartagena, Colombia. And the bus depot was not in the best part of town. We got off the bus and we had our backpacks and we were looking for a place to stay and couldn't really find any place. And then we saw just kind of this rundown place that had rooms on it. And we just wanted to get off the streets, and so we went in and said, we'll take a room. And